But before we get into our show for tonight, let's do some news. You ready? So,
yeah,
scientists discover a core deep inside the Earth. So this is new scientific research is coming out. A solid ball of iron and nickel. Researchers on Tuesday said an intensive study of Earth's deep interior confirmed the existence of a distinct structure inside our Earth's inner core. And the story goes on to talk about Jules Verne and so. But they've talked now about the Earth's diameter is about 7,900 miles. The planet's internal structure comprises 4 layers, a rocky crust on the outside, a thin rocky mantle, an outer core made of magma, and a solid inner core. This metallic inner core, about 1,500 miles wide, was discovered in the 1930s, also based on seismic waves traveling through the Earth. In 2002, there was a proposition that lurking within this inner core was a section that was separate from the rest, akin to a nesting doll. The increasing sophistication of seismic monitoring enabled this to be confirmed.
But what's the real exciting thing about this that we need to know, Frosty? What have they said? Remember, scientists have said.
Well, so the thing that I brought up when I read this is that when looking at planets that we think could and have life, they said that. And then this is just me. I could be wrong, but I always heard that the planet had to have like a magma core in order for there to be the appropriate electromagnetic field around the planet. And so when scientists were studying some exoplanets that they've discovered, they would say, well, this planet couldn't have life because it doesn't have the electromagnetic field that it would need because it has a solid, or what they would call a dead core. And so I'm wondering exactly what the difference is here if we actually have a solid core, whereas previously it had been kind of proposed that there was some kind of like magma center. It's hot enough to be magma from this news story, but because of the pressure, because of the pressure of the planet, it actually creates the iron and the nickel stay in a solid state. So.
Linguist, that's what I've been saying for like the last 20 years. Doesn't include the fact that different species could have totally different requirements for life. We've already found that on our own planet. Yeah. But I don't know.
But it's interesting because exactly where this conversation went. We're looking outward, and there's still a whole lot of questions about right here where we're at, you know?
We found stuff living in the ocean they didn't think would be able to exist because it was acidic and it was too freaking hot. And guess what? There's life there.
We're trying to figure out what kind of planet in a solar system 2,000 light years away could hold life when we don't even know everything about our own planet. So
they sent a tardigrade out in the frickin' space and it didn't die. So, I mean, you know. Was that one of your news stories? I didn't just mess one of them up, did I?
No, I don't know.
You don't have that one.
The next story that we have is a cyclist in England claims he encountered a telepathic praying mantis alien. A young man in England claims that he had a terrifying encounter with an extraterrestrial that resembled a giant praying mantis, which could communicate with him telepathically. The bizarre incident reportedly occurred this past summer, but only recently came to light when the shaken witness, Paul Frogat, decided to share his story with the media. According to him, the unsettling event unfolded one morning last July as he was riding his bicycle home from his job at a dog food factory in the town of Warwick. The routine trip took a troubling turn, he recalled, when he first spotted a UFO hovering in the sky. At first I thought it must be Venus or a satellite, he said, but it seemed to be so much closer than either of these things. And after Frogat had taken some pictures of the anomaly, he noticed that it began rotating. Uneasy about what he was witnessing, the young man fled the scene on his bike and ultimately wound up in a wooded area where he could no longer see the odd object, thinking that the weirdness was behind him. And we know in this show, the weirdness is never over. Frogat was soon disabused of that notion when he turned a corner and spotted what he can only describe as a humanoid praying mantis. The young man described the curious creature as standing at least 7 feet tall and possessing a triangular head and big oval black eyes. It had
7-foot tall praying mantis. That's like nightmare fuel.
It had all the features of a mantis, but stood on 2 legs and had a somehow human-like shape about it. Gobsmacked by the insect-like entity, Frogot simply stared into its eyes and felt as if he and the oddity were somehow communicating telepathically. My fear was replaced with complete alien thoughts of utter hatred and evil I felt projected from this thing, he said, recounting the chilling messages. So, I don't know. That's interesting.
I don't know. I always thought praying mantises look like little aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. But why does it have to be evil and malicious?
I don't know. Yeah. That's really interesting because, well, if you go back, we've talked about this before. If you go back and watch the movie Fire in the Sky, and you listen to the interviews done with him in the 1990s and stuff like that, he has a very fearful reaction, and he thinks that there are a lot of negative things going on. But if you go and listen to an interview with him now, he's kind of changed his tune, and he thinks that he was misinterpreting a lot of things that he was being told.
Yeah, because if you're and also if you're scared, you're gonna feel negative things just on your own.
And so his whole story has changed. And for some reason, I'm forgetting the guy's name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I think for the most part. One thing, and this is the thing that always sticks out to me at the end of this news article. This is a Coast to Coast AM article, by the way. He says he was forced to quit his job after he shared his story with coworkers and quickly became the laughingstock of the dog food factory. Be that as it may, he insists that the incident truly took place and now hopes that someone can come forward to somehow confirm, at the very least, that there was a UFO in the sky that fateful morning. So he just wants someone to corroborate seeing something in the sky so people don't think he's absolute Looney Tunes.
Poor fella. He lost his dog food money.
Yeah. Man, that dog food money could get him some readings. He needs to come hang out with Team Weird. We'll welcome him over here. He's welcome to come hang out.
You're welcome to come
any Friday night. Yeah. Thursday, witching hour stream.
Maybe whatever. We can come hang out with us. We can channel the 7-foot praying mantis entities.
There we go. There's a new.
And then you'll be friends. Yeah.
Here's article number 3 tonight. Scientists finally solved the mystery of how the Mayan calendar works. Now, this is an interesting one.
But they're going to say that they did,
history
but did
perspective
they?
Here. And this is from Popular Mechanics. Okay. Is where I got this alert. So right off the top, kind of a guidelines. The 819 days of the calendar must be viewed across a 45-year time period to fully understand it. The movements of all major planets visible to the ancient Mayans fit into this extended calendar. So the Mayan calendar's 819-day cycle has confounded scholars for decades. But new research shows how it matches up to a planetary cycle over a 45-year span. That's a much broader view of the tricky calendar than anyone previously tried to take. In a study published in the journal Ancient Mesoamerica, 2 Tulane University scholars highlighted how researchers never could quite explain the 819-day count calendar until they broadened their view. Although prior researchers sought... What's that?
I said, look at that.
Yeah. Although prior research has sought to show planetary connections from the 819-day count, its 4-part color directional scheme is too short to fit well with this synodic periods of visible planets. The study authors write, by increasing the calendar length to 20 periods of 819 days, a pattern emerges in which the synodic periods of all the visible planets commensurate with station points in the larger 819-day calendar. That means that Mayans took a 45-year view of planetary alignment and coded it into a calendar that has left modern scholars scratching their heads in wonder.
Yeah.
So,
behind that.
So they talk about when you look at it over 16,380 days, or roughly 45 years, you can kind of discover how the calendar was made. And obviously no one had spent 45 years to figure out exactly how it had happened. So now we have a broader understanding of how they at least created their calendar. There's still a lot of myths and rumors.
At this point in time, our attention spans are 45 seconds. So
45
nobody
years.
could spend 45 years trying to figure something out.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people. There are.
And then the last story we have tonight is the Hubble telescope spots runaway black hole, leaving behind a trail of new stars. If confirmed, the first of its kind find would serve as convincing observational evidence that supermassive black holes can indeed be ejected from their parent galaxies. So just as the thing, like they've kind of discovered that every galaxy, they think, has a supermassive black hole in the center of it. And so they can run free. Astronomers think they've discovered a black hole some 20 million times the mass of the sun, speeding away from the core of a distant galaxy. And as the supermassive black hole barrels through intergalactic space, it's compressing the scant gas and dust available out there, leaving behind a thin line of newly formed stars that's some 200,000 light years long.
Wow.
200,000 light years. Like a black hole's just zooming across the galaxy, leaving behind an exhaust of new stars.
That's like more time than we can possibly fathom.
200,000 light years long. Despite being relatively thin, the black hole's stellar wake is packed with plenty of hot blue stars, making it nearly half as bright as the parent galaxy it traces back to. Based on the available evidence, the researchers think that this black hole was likely ejected during a complex dance between three supermassive black holes that were involved in a pair of galaxy mergers. If confirmed, this would be the first observational evidence showing that supermassive black holes can be ejected from their parent galaxy.
Sounds fun.
And that was the news.